y'all. Hold on to your seats because this one is straight up wild. In a bombshell courtroom moment that's got the entire hip-hop world shaking. YNW Bortlen has officially broken his silence in a brand new testimony that's already being called the most explosive since the case began. And baby, he did not hold back. We talkin' names dropped, shots fired, and a whole list of rappers getting dragged into the courtroom chaos, and fans are losing it online. What was supposed to be a simple update in the YNW Melly double murder trial just turned into a full-blown scandal that could change everything. Sources inside the courtroom are saying Bortlen looked calm, but what came out his mouth was anything but. Allegations of betrayal, backdoor deals, and even a mysterious third person at the scene the night of the murders have left fans stunned and the internet in a frenzy. Was Melly really not alone that night? Did another well-known rapper help cover it all up? Why is Bortlen speaking out now, and who is he trying to protect or expose? Stay tuned, because this tea is scalding. And y'all are not ready for what's about to drop next. The courtroom was dead silent when YNW Bortlen took the stand. People were expecting a short statement, maybe a few guarded words, but what came next had everyone from reporters to Melly's own family holding their breath. Bortlen sat down, adjusted the mic, and after a long pause, he simply said, "I can't keep protecting everybody. I'm not going down alone." From that moment, you could feel the shift. This wasn't going to be another routine court appearance. This was the moment the walls started to crack. And fans who were tuned into the live stream, bloggers, rap pages, and even celebrities started posting within minutes saying, "Yo, Bortlen just flipped." He started slow, almost calm, talking about the night that has haunted hip-hop for years, the night N.A. Juvie and Sakasar were murdered. But as he spoke, the details he gave didn't line up with the original story. According to Bortlen, Melly wasn't the only one with a motive. And he wasn't the only one in the car that night. "Everybody thinks it was just me, Melly, and the two homies," Bortlen said, looking straight ahead. But that's not the whole truth. There was somebody else. Somebody who left before the cops pulled up. And everybody been protecting him. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Even Melly, sitting at the defense table, looked shaken. He leaned over to his lawyer, whispering something with wide eyes. Fans online were eating it up, reposting clips with captions like "Melly Buddha pass out" and "Bortlen snitching on a rapper." But Bortlen didn't stop there. He began dropping clues, talking about a Florida rapper who used to be close with Melly, someone who was at the studio earlier that night, someone who had beef with one of the victims. While he didn't say a name directly, the internet did what it always does, connected the dots. All signs pointed to a rapper who had once been featured on tracks with Melly, even called him Blood on Instagram, but had mysteriously gone silent after the murders. Some fans were quick to pull up old tweets, deleted IG lives, and even unreleased footage from studio sessions. Suddenly, everyone was asking, was this mystery rapper the missing piece? Bortlen's tone changed as he talked about the pressure he felt, pressure from the label, from people in Melly's circle, and from others he refused to name. "I was told to stay quiet, to ride this out," he said. "But when they started turning on me, that's when I knew I wasn't part of the plan. I was the fall guy." Meanwhile, Melly's legal team tried to shut the whole thing down. They objected multiple times, claiming Bortlen was going off script, violating plea terms, even accusing the prosecution of coercing testimony. But the judge let him speak. And once the floodgates opened, there was no turning back. Bortlen revealed that after the incident, there was a private meeting just days later, a mansion in Miami. "We met up to get the story straight," he said. "They told me what to say, how to act, what to post. It was all fake. Even the rest in peace post-Stows was scheduled." Outside the courtroom, reactions were just as chaotic. Fans gathered outside, yelling out support for Melly, while others screamed free Bortlen. One woman, allegedly Juvie's cousin, broke down crying on the steps, saying, "We've been saying this whole time, it wasn't just Melly." Now somebody finally telling the truth. Inside sources say Melly's mother, Jamie King, had to be escorted out after breaking down in tears when Bortlen began implying that not only was Melly not acting alone, but that the family may have been manipulated into keeping quiet. The emotional weight of Bortlen's testimony wasn't just shocking, was personal. He spoke about nights he couldn't sleep, about feeling like his loyalty was weaponized. "I ain't no snitch," he said. But loyalty don't mean dying for people who already wrote you off. By this point, the internet was on fire. Say Cheese TV dropped a midday update with a thumbnail of Bortlen looking over his shoulder and the title, "He Told Everything." Candidly, Cassie went live just minutes later, saying this is about to be the biggest rap trial scandal since 6ix9ine In. Comments flooded in, with fans debating whether Bortlen was telling the truth or just trying to save himself. But then came the biggest twist of part 1. It's claimed that there's actual footage from the night of the murders. Footage that was taken off a security camera nearby, but was allegedly wiped clean by someone connected to the industry. He didn't say who, but he gave a chilling hint. They wear suits, but they in the streets way more than rappers, and they ain't scared to make people disappear. At that point, the prosecution looked stunned. Defense attorneys were frantically scribbling notes, but Bortlen looked like he had nothing left to lose. "They told me if I talked, I'd never make it back out," he said. But honestly, at this point, I don't even care. And just like that, the judge called for a recess. The court was adjourned for the day, but the tension didn't end there. As Bortlen was being escorted out, someone in the gallery yelled, "Traitor." But he didn't even flinch outside. Fans were gathered with signs, some shouting "Free Melly," others calling for justice for Juvie and Sakasar. One young fan told reporters, "I used to look up to all of them. Now I don't know who to believe." The media circus only got louder. TMZ picked up the story within the hour, followed by academics, who posted a cryptic caption, "Somebody else was there." Y'all ready for the name? The entire rap game was watching, waiting, speculating. Rumors started flying that more subpoenas were coming, and that other rappers might be dragged into court soon. And just as everyone thought, things couldn't get more dramatic. A leaked audio clip began circulating online allegedly from that secret mansion meeting. In the clip, a voice that sounds eerily like Melly can be heard saying, "We just gotta move smart. Nobody say nothin'," while it hasn't been authenticated. Fans swear it proves everything Bortlen said. Everything Bortlen said. This was no longer just a case, it was turning into a full-blown industry scandal. The narrative of Melly being a lone wolf was shattered. The idea that this was just a tragic misunderstanding, gone. And now, with Bortlen ready to talk more, everyone was bracing for what he'd reveal next. What was once seen as loyalty had become betrayal. What started as a brotherhood was unraveling before our eyes. And as the courtroom prepared for day 2, everyone had the same question on their minds. If Bortlen's telling the truth, who's the rapper he's protecting? And more importantly, how far are they willing to go to keep their name out of it? The next morning, the courtroom was packed standing room only. Fans, reporters, bloggers, and even a few rappers pulled up in person, trying to catch a glimpse of what was turning into the most talked about trial in recent rap history. You could feel the tension before Bortlen even walked in. And when he did, he didn't look scared. He looked focused, like a man who had already accepted that once the truth came out, there was no going back. Within minutes, Bortlen was back on the stand. The judge gave a warning that anything not directly related to the case would be stricken, but Bortlen wasn't fazed. He leaned into the mic and started speaking again, but this time he came with names. "Y'all want to know who was there?" he said, eyes scanning the room. Y'all want to know who ran out the back while we cleaned up the scene? It was that boy. And I ain't gonna say his full name, but y'all know who he is. He got 3 letters in his name, just like Melly. And he ain't been the same since that night. Gasps filled the room. Phones were out. People started whispering. Some even guessed out loud. It's B. One girl yelled before a bailiff silenced her. Bortlen kept going. We used to all run together. Melly, me, him. We was like family. But the second things got messy. He disappeared. No calls, no texts, no check-ins. Like he ain't never even know us. And just like that, the internet lit up again. Fans were pulling receipts, old videos, photos from 2018 showing Melly and Bortlen with a third rapper always lurking in the background. Suddenly, everyone was looking at this mystery artist's page, scrubbing through old captions, zooming in on blurry photos, analyzing every lyric he's dropped since the night of the murders. And then people noticed he had quietly unfollowed Melly right after the news broke, back in the courtroom. Bortlen revealed more about what happened that night. He said after the shots were fired, there was confusion, panic. Melly froze up, he said. He wasn't even processing what just happened. I was trying to figure out if Juvie was breathing. Sack was gone. And the other dude? He was already out the car. He described a chaotic sign blood, screaming, the smell of gunpowder. And then silence. Bortlen claimed he tried to convince Melly to go to the hospital to come clean. But that's when the phone rang. And on the other end, someone from the label. They said, y'all better fix this. If this hits the press the wrong way, it's over for all of us. So instead of going to the hospital, they staged the scene. Bortlen admitted to driving around for hours, creating the illusion of a drive-by. He said the call came from someone high up, someone with enough influence to make things disappear. They promised they'd protect us, he said. But they really just protected him. And once again, fans were divided. Some said Bortlen was lying to shift blame. Others believed every word. Hashtags like hashtag #FreeBortlen and hashtag Melly AINT alone started trending. Even celebrities started weighing in. One rapper tweeted, "Bin knew the whole story wasn't being told. This finna get ugly." Melly's expression during the testimony was unreadable. He didn't flinch, didn't nod, didn't react. But his lawyers looked stressed. One was seen whispering rapidly into his ear, while another kept flipping through a thick folder of documents. Melly's mom was back in court too, wearing all black sunglasses on, with a prayer book clutched in her hands. But when Bortlen started describing the second gun found at the Cena gun that was allegedly wiped clean and thrown into a canal, she was seen wiping away. Tears. "That gun wasn't mine," Bortlen said. It wasn't Melly's either. It belonged to the third person. And the reason y'all ain't ever seen it in evidence? Because it was gone before the cops even showed up. That one line triggered an entire new wave of drama online. Say Cheese TV posted a clip titled "Missing Gun Confirmed." While candidly, Cassie posted a reaction video saying, "Hold up. How they lose a whole gun?" This cover-up goes deeper than we thought, and just when fans thought the situation couldn't get messier. Bortlen told the court about a message he received just 2 nights before his testimony. It came through a burner phone, left in a brown envelope outside his cell. No number. No name. Just a one-line text. "Stay quiet or your mom won't wake up." He held the courtroom hostage with that one sentence. Even the judge looked disturbed. Security was increased instantly. A separate investigation was launched into jail staff. And the judge ordered that Bortlen be moved to a secure facility until the trial ended. Outside the courthouse, Juve's older brother Devontae gave a tearful interview to reporters. "They killed my little brother and tried to make him a footnote," he said. "But this testimony? It's bringing the truth out. And I hope they all burn for it. Melly's team issued a brief statement during lunch break, saying, "We deny all allegations not backed by physical evidence and believe these distractions are being used to manipulate public perception, but the damage was done." Bortlen's words had already taken root. Rumors started swirling that the FBI had reopened certain parts of the case. Journalists claimed subpoenas were being drafted for people never mentioned publicly before. And a private investigator working with Juvie's family confirmed they'd received new surveillance footage from a nearby pawn shop, footage that may show someone running from the scene that night Bortlen ended his day too. Testimony with a final statement that echoed, "Through the courtroom, I was loyal. I stayed quiet. I did what they asked, but they turned their backs on me. Now I'm done protecting them. And when the truth finally comes out, y'all gonna see this whole thing was bigger than just us." Court was adjourned again, but the noise outside didn't stop. Fans were screaming. Media vans circled the block. Helicopters hovered above. And somewhere, watching from a distance, that third rapper whose name still hadn't been confirmed was probably wondering how much longer he had before his name came out officially. And inside that courtroom, everyone knew one thing for sure: if Bortlen had more to say tomorrow, the real storm hadn't even started yet. The courtroom was different on day 3, quieter, colder, like everyone in the room knew something huge was about to happen but didn't know where the blow would come from. YNW Bortlen was escorted in with 2 armed guards this time, wearing a bulletproof vest underneath his jumpsuit. Reporters said his lawyers had requested extra protection after the burner phone threat. The courtroom was under full lockdown. No phones, no cameras, no laptops. Only pen, paper, and fear. But even with all that security, Bortlen walked in like a man who was already free, calm, controlled, determined, and then, just like that, he dropped the name. He leaned into the mic, looked the prosecution straight in the eye, and said it was YNW Bortlen. He was the 4th one there. The room exploded. People gasped. A woman screamed. The judge slammed the gavel so hard it echoed for 5 full seconds. But it was too late. The name was out. YNW Bortlen, a rapper who had stayed low-key since the incident, never publicly mentioned, never charged, but always lurking in the background, was now front and center. Bortlen didn't stop. He was the one who told Melly what to do, he said. "We can't leave no witnesses." He said it just like that, cold, like it wasn't nothing. Melly didn't react at first, but his hands clenched. Fans noticed it right away. Body language experts later said that tiny movements spoke louder than any words he could have said. Bortlen continued, describing how Bortlen had been with them earlier that night at the studio. He said Bortlen had a problem with Sakasor, something about money, a verse that never got cleared, and a girl they both had history with. "They was arguing in the back room while we was recording," Bortlen said. "I should have known right then. That energy wasn't right." Bortlen claimed that Bortlen pulled Melly aside outside the studio and had a private conversation just before they all piled into the car. He said Melly came back looking serious, not saying much. And from that moment on, everything felt off. The prosecution asked why he never mentioned Bortlen before. Bortlen said, "'Cause he got family tied to some real hitters. I ain't just scared for me. I was scared for my mom, my girl, everybody." He said the plan was never murder. "At first, we was just gonna press them, scare 'em, get some respect back. But once Bortlen started talking, it turned into something else. And by the time the shots was fired, it was too late to undo it." Outside the courtroom, the streets went crazy. Say Cheese posted a new thumbnail with Bortlen's face and the caption, "He was there the whole time." Candidly, Cassie did an emergency livestream, barely able to keep up with the comments flying in. This man really thought he got away with it. One viewer said. Another typed, "So YNW Melly ain't the mastermind. He, the puppet." Meanwhile, fans started digging up everything about YNW Bortlen, his old interviews, versus tweets. Someone found a freestyle from 2019 where he said, "Night ridin' with the squad. Someone ain't make it home." That clip alone hit 1 million views in under 24 hours. But things weren't just heating up in court, they were catching fire in the streets too. According to police scanners, shots were fired outside the home of Bortlen's cousin that same night. Nobody was hit, but sources say the family believes it was a warning. Retaliation. Silence was no longer an option. Inside the courtroom, Bortlen's testimony turned emotional. He broke down crying as he recalled the moment he realized Juvie wasn't breathing. "I was shaking him, like, wake up bro, please. Just wake up," but he was gone. And Bortlen. He ain't say a word. He just lit a cigarette. The judge called a short recess to let everyone collect themselves. Melly's mom, Jamie, left the courtroom again, this time escorted by 2 security guards and her pastor. She refused to speak to media. One reporter claimed she was overheard saying, "They're tearing my baby apart." When court resumed, Bortlen continued painting a picture of manipulation and betrayal. He claimed that after the murder, Bortlen had flown out to Houston under a fake name. He said the label wired him hush money, $40,000 in cash and a burner phone with a direct line to someone high up. They didn't want the truth out. It wasn't just about protecting Melly. It was about protecting the brand, the business. They said, if this falls apart, all of us go down. Melly's defense tried to object again, calling the testimony speculative. But the judge allowed it, saying the relevance was now undeniable. The courtroom became a battleground, lawyers yelling, reporters scribbling, fans outside chanting both justice for Juvie and Melly innocent. But the biggest moment of the day came when Bortlen dropped one more twist. He said he still had proof. "I got the audio." A full recording of that night. The part nobody ever heard. The prosecution froze. The judge leaned forward. The entire room went silent again. "Where is it?" The prosecutor asked. "Locked in a vault," Bortlen said. "With my lawyer. It drops if something happens to me." And just like that, the story went from scandal to survival. Fans on social media started tagging the FBI, demanding federal protection. Rap blogs posted headlines like "Bortlen got a kill switch file" and "Audio proof about to shake the industry." Melly looked over at Bortlen for the first time in the entire trial. No words, just a look. Cold, intense. A mix of fury and disbelief. And for the first time since he was arrested, Melly's eyes said everything. He knew the empire was collapsing after court ended for the day. Bortlen's lawyer confirmed that a drive containing audio and video files was secured with a legal team in Los Angeles. He didn't say what was on it, but he hinted that multiple voices were captured. Fans speculated whether it included a confession, a phone call, maybe even a video from the car. Every blog, every fan page, every journalist was now asking the same question. If that file drops, who else is going down? By nightfall, news broke that the DA was requesting an official subpoena for YNW Bortlen to appear in court. He hadn't posted on social media, hadn't released music. His last tweet, dated over a year ago, just said, "Everybody ain't who they pretend to be." Now fans were pulling it back up, screenshotting it with captions like this tweet, aged like spoiled milk, and "Nah, he'd been guilty. We just didn't see it," but deep inside the court system, people were already bracing for a new wave of arrests. Insiders whispered that the Florida Department of Law Enforcement had reopened a 2017 cold case that might be connected. Someone from Melly's old crew. Another mysterious death. Another cover-up. And just like that, Bortlen had turned from a silent sidekick into the most dangerous man in the courtroom. Everyone knew that tomorrow, if he brought out that audio, the game would never be the same again. The morning of day 4 didn't feel like a trial anymore. It felt like the premiere of a blockbuster movie. The courthouse was surrounded. News vans lined the streets. Helicopters hovered above like vultures, waiting for the fall. People weren't just watching. They were waiting for the drop, the name, the audio. The downfall. Bortlen arrived under heavy security, flanked by armed marshals. His vest was even thicker this time, and his lawyer never left his side. Melly sat stiff in his chair, jaw clenched, eyes locked forward. His team knew what was coming. They tried everything: motions to delay objections, a request for mistrial, denied. The judge was locked in. Today was the day then. Just after 10:43 a.m., the courtroom lights dimmed slightly. The prosecution stepped forward with a silver hard drive, labeled only with the initials Y. They plugged it into the court's secure media station. No music, no warning. Just silence. Then, the recording started. It wasn't crystal clear, but it was real. The room heard voices. First, laughter. Then, tension. Then shouting for people. One was definitely Melly. One was Bortlen. The others, unidentified. But fans online would later say one sounded exactly like a new Brumman. He ain't gon' talk if we scare him. One voice said, double quotes, nah. We too deep in. Another voice replied, we handle it now, or we all done. Then came silence. A long pause. Then a gunshot. Then another. Then the screech of tires. Then, clear as day, someone said, don't say nothing, ever. Don't say nothing, ever. The courtroom froze. Jaws dropped. The judge looked stunned. Bortlen just stared forward, breathing heavy but steady. Melly, he didn't move. He just lowered his head into his hands. For the first time, there was no more pretending. The illusion was gone. Fans on Twitter were losing their minds. Within minutes, the audio was leaked. YouTube channels reposted it with titles like In We Murder, Night Tape Leaked, and Melly Told Not to Talk. People argued over which voice was which, but one thing was clear: Bortlen wasn't lying. There was a fourth person. And now the world had heard it. Outside the courthouse, protesters switched sides. Signs that said Free Melly were being flipped over. Chants shifted from he innocent to lock them all up. It was the fastest 180 fans had ever seen. Inside, the prosecution asked Bortlen one final question. Why now? Why tell the truth today? His answer? Cold, raw, honest. 'Cause they already left me for dead, he said. And I ain't dying for people who forgot my name the second the news hit. He stepped down from the stand. But the real storm was just beginning, as Bortlen was escorted out. News broke that YNW Bortlen had been taken into custody in Atlanta. U.S. Marshals caught him outside a hotel, allegedly trying to board a private jet with fake documents. He didn't go quietly. According to sources, he screamed, "I ain't do nothin'." As they dragged him away, blogs went crazy. Fans were stunned. Candidly, Cassie went live screaming, "This is better than any Netflix documentary ever made." Say Cheese posted a side-by-side mugshot of Brumman and Melly with the caption, "Brothers in Bars." But the drama didn't stop there. That night, someone leaked a DM allegedly sent by Melly to a girl just a few days before the trial began. In it, he said, "Bortlen ain't built like that. He gonna crack. If he do, tell my mama I'm sorry." The message shook fans to their core. Some defended him, saying he was scared, overwhelmed. Others said it proved he knew the whole time. Hashtags like hashtag Melly knew and hashtag Bortlen was loyal started trending. Even rappers who were once close to the NI camp started distancing themselves. One Florida artist tweeted, "Man, I used to ride for y'all. But this, a mess. Count me out." Another said, "Too many bodies. Too many secrets. Hip-hop ain't a war zone. It's music." Meanwhile, Sakasor's mom finally broke her silence, speaking to a local news station with tears in her eyes. "We waited years for someone to say the truth. They painted my son like he was just another dead rapper. But he was a son, a brother, and he didn't deserve that." Juvie's sister posted a photo of him as a kid, captioned, "Finally, justice moving." With the audio in play and Bortlen now facing charges, the judge ordered a full reopening of the case. Melly's legal team filed emergency motions, but the damage was done. Their timeline was collapsing. Their narrative shattered, and fans were already rewriting history. TikTok flooded with timelines, theories, breakdowns. People were stitching old Melly videos with new court clips, trying to find every hidden truth they'd missed. Some even claimed they could hear Bortlen's voice in the background of Melly's 2019 jail call. Others said a lyric in Melly's 223s was a low-key confession. But the most chilling moment of all came from an anonymous Reddit post uploaded just an hour after the courtroom closed for the day. The user claimed to have access to unreleased footage from a gas station near the scene that showed four figures getting out the car just minutes before the shooting. They posted a blurry screenshot, and although faces weren't visible, fans swore the body language matched Bortlen's exact build. The case wasn't over, but it had changed forever. Bortlen was no longer just a co-defendant. He was a whistleblower, a survivor, maybe even a hero to some. But he didn't celebrate. He didn't smile. In fact, when asked by reporters how he felt, his only words were, "Like I got blood on my hands either way." And just like that, the trial that was supposed to end with a simple verdict now had turned into a tangled web of lies, lost friendships, and an industry-wide wake-up call. From brotherhood to betrayal, from silence to screams, from loyalty to lawsuits. And as the dust settled, one thing became clear. The truth don't care who it takes down. It just wants out, so now the truth is out toward at least part of it. YNW Bortlen has shattered the silence with a testimony nobody saw coming, dragging names, spilling secrets, and exposing a side of the YNW saga the public was never meant to know. With YNW Bortlen now behind bars, audio files leaked, and fans flipping their loyalty in real time. This case has gone from a courtroom drama to a cultural earthquake, but it's far from over. There are still so many questions that need answers. What happens when Bortlen testifies? Will more rappers be named? What about the label execs Bortlen hinted at? Will they ever face charges? And what's really on that mysterious gas station footage the internet claims to have? Was Melly really manipulated, or was he calling the shots from the jump? And even deeper, how many more secrets are buried behind the fame, the streams, and the brotherhood they once swore was unbreakable? The lines between truth and loyalty have never been blurrier. Fans are split, families are devastated, and careers are crumbling before our eyes. But now we want to hear from you. Do you believe Bortlen? Is he finally telling the truth, or just saving himself? Was Melly really alone that night? And who else in the industry do you think knew what really happened? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't hold back. This is your chance to weigh in on one of the craziest trials hip-hop has ever seen. If you rocked with this deep dive, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe for more raw, unfiltered rap news. And turn on them notifications so you don't miss the next twist in this ongoing saga. This story ain't over, not by a long shot. Stay tuned. Stay locked in. And remember, truth always finds a mic. Remember, truth always finds a mic.